think I am on the right group. I think I've done this right. It's the most hottest day in the world, and I've just gone back on. So I apologise to everybody. I'm just having one of those technical issues. Paul's not here, so that's probably why it's going wrong. So I'm really sorry. So I've started again, and I thought I'd start from the beginning. So today we're going to be looking at rice papers, and I just thought I would just go through some techniques with rice papers, just have a look at it with you. I'm really sorry, ladies, but I got a little bit lost, and I sort of switched everything off and had to start again, so I apologise. So hopefully you found me, and we can get started. It is so hot. Hi Kim, sorry guys, I'm a little bit late because I got totally lost today on my little technical cruise. So today we're going to be looking at rice papers and journaling. This is actually Florana, which is one of the PipART papers. Hello Angela. Yes, other than being really hot and bothered and not being in the right place, I just wanted to share this with you. So I'm going to be doing something with one of the Stamperia rice papers today, but this is just to show you what you could do with rice paper. We've got a couple of here, got another one here. Not sure if I've got any more with the rice paper in this book, but I have done a lot in the past. So you could just do it with stamps as well. But I love art journaling. Hi Louisa. I'm sorry everybody, I was a little bit late and I got lost on my Facebook Live. That's a problem. I don't know. It's just totally threw me. Right, so what we're going to be doing, we're going to look at some rice paper and how to incorporate that. This is just a reading book, just an old one. And I tend to do it in here because I really like working with this. And if you've got a journal, you could do it in a journal as well. If anybody's got any questions, just let me know. So I'm actually going to use this rice paper, which is actually a Stamperia one from the Blueland, which is number 43 and 36. So it's DFSA 43, 36, if anybody wants to know. And I'm going to work with this and see how I can incorporate this into a journal page. So hopefully you can see it, and it's all good. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the part of the image that I'm going to actually use. And that is, I'm actually going to use this part here to start with. Now the best way to actually break down rice paper is just to get some clean water and a wet brush, and that's probably the best way. So what I'm going to do is I don't want any of the harsh lines. So all I'm doing is using a wet brush with some water. I'm going to take all this away. Put my hair there. Just going to take that little bit to start off with. Now the best way, once you've made that wet, all you do is you pull at it. Okay, so all I'm doing is pulling, thumb on one side, pulling with the other thumb on the other side. Now I like to do this because I think it's really important that you get this sort of fibrous effect. You just hold it down and then just pull away. It's very easy to do. If you ever get a fibre, and what I suggest is you basically, you go and get a pair of scissors and cut that fibre. Okay, so I don't want to keep, I actually wet it quite a bit. I don't want to keep it too wet. So there we go. Okay, so let's put that aside for a second. Now, I know a few of you just joined. I apologise I was late today because I got lost on the internet. And I hope I'm in the right place. God knows where I've actually posted it. So I just wanted to show you, this is actually with Florana using a rice paper in a book. And I just love this effect that you get. Because rice paper is translucent, it's really nice because you can then see the reading pages or any other colours that you might have behind it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with, I'm not going to actually, I usually would prime my page or anything like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I really like this element So I'm actually going to stick this at the top. So that's what I'm going to do first. Let me just bend down and get my matte medium. This is the matte medium, and all I'm going to do is, this is the Dekor matte medium, so I prefer to use this because it gives a nicer finish. So if anybody's got any questions, just let me know. But I think I can see most of my comments. I daren't refresh. I'm just moving across. Sorry, ladies. Oh, hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I'll say hello to everybody. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to stick this rice paper down. I'm just going to go over the top. I'm not being too careful because for me journaling is more about creating an effect and really expressing how you feel. Today I feel very, very warm and hot. I can't tell you how warm it is here. We've got no air conditioning in this facility, and I'm not at home, so there we go. So all I'm doing is I'm using the matte medium, and then I'm going to go over the top, and I'm going to create this. It's a really easy way to apply rice paper, but a beautiful way to apply rice paper, because I love the fact, I'll show you that in a minute. I love the fact how the writing still shows through. I don't even know what camera I'm on today. Look, we've got a leaf there. We've got, you can see the writing through there. And that's one of the things I love about rice paper, which you would never get from, obviously, cardstock. So I've got that little bit, and I really like that. Now I want to build a little bit more into this, because obviously I don't want to have any sort of white pages or anything like that. So remove this paper clip out of the way. And I just love the effect that you get. I'll put these few pages down. Okay. So now I want to see what do I want to do. I think I'm going to go for a bit more abstract up here. Okay, so I'm just going to, you can tear it by hand as well if you want to. And like I said, I already said, I don't want any edges which are straight. I'm just using a bit of water, and I'm just pulling that through. Hello, everybody. So just take my thumb and fingers and just pulling this out. Okay. Really love this rice paper. It just lends itself to this sort of thing. Just taking that away. So now I sort of want to balance it up. So I'm going to stick it down here. Using my brush, my Dekor medium, which I've actually got water in, but it's fine. And I like the fact, obviously, that I'm going to see this translucent. It's going to give me another bit of structure. Okay, so those are my rice papers are down. Just put that there for a minute. So that's a part of the bit I wanted to do. Okay, now there's my heat gun is my next question in a minute. I'm surprised I need a heat gun. I don't use it, it's so warm. So when I've got this bit, what I tend to try and do then is I try to go out there and look for colours that will match the rice paper. I might use some more rice paper in a minute, but just try and match as many colours as you can to your rice paper. So it's got a few browny beiges in it. I've got my white primer to sort of, got a bit of this sort of, what it's called is lichen green. God, I nearly forgot what that was called then. Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. And so we've got a few colours there. You could even go with some of the lighter blues, the lighter greys. So I'm going to take the greys, I'm going to take a bit of the green, and I'm going to start building in the background here. So let's start with the grey. So what I want to do is I want to just bring it in and just build a bit of colour in there. I don't want to cover all of it. I just love the way you can work so easily. So we're just going to bring this in. Don't worry too much. I'm just, I've not done this before. I mean, these colours, this paper. So I'm just basically winging it, as they say. Okay, so we want I'm going to do a little bit on this side, but not as much as I have on that side. But I do want to not show the edges of the rice paper. So let's just bring this in. And you'll see the Dekor soft paints are absolutely gorgeous to work with. I just love these sort of effects. I just think it's just so, so lovely. I just grab my heat gun. And when you start, you always have this fear. You think, oh my God, what's this going to look like? So I don't worry too much because it's a piece of paper and it's all fine. So we've sort of broken this page down already. And this is what I love about it. I just love the fact that it's nearly like this element of freedom to it that you can do. I'm going to add a little bit of beige into this as well. And I'm not worrying too much about any contamination. I'm not worrying too much about any of it. And I love the way, you know, that you get these sort of like, it's the texture I love. So it's just so beautiful, the texture. I can't explain it to you. And when you start it, you'll be going like, oh my God, where's she going with this? And it does feel like that sometimes. But then it all just comes together. And that's what I like about it. Okay, so we brought in a little bit of the beige as well. It's funny because everybody says how different Pip and I are, and it's so true. She would be like, now you put this down, you do this, and there's me going, just put it all down, just go for it. So it's quite nice. It's quite nice to have that contrast. So I don't mind bringing the light colour onto a little bit of the rice paper, because what I don't want is I don't want us to feel, oh, we've stuck this rice paper in. Can you see now how quickly we've built that little scene up? A little bit of way to go, yeah? So I'm going to add a little bit of blue. I've gone with this sky blue. I might have to darken it a little bit. So what I'll do, I tend to darken my paints. I tend to use the black primer, and that works perfectly. Don't use the same brush like I do, because it doesn't quite work like that. I have to add a little bit more blue, light blue. There we go. And I like this sort of greyish blue I want. So again, another layer, another texture. Now you could be stenciling this through. You could be, you know, adding it. You could let your layers really dry. I don't know if you can see that, but the texture is absolutely beautiful. And then it just starts to build up by itself, really. And then you keep going at these different, you know, sort of levels. And you just get these beautiful pieces. I do love doing this sort of thing. I think it's the most therapeutic thing I do is actually journaling. I think it's just so, so nice. Yeah, I think it's a really nice way. The pages crease, you get different looks in it. You get so many different, you know, sort of different ways of doing it. And that's what I love about it. And you can always go in and add more colour. So can you see how, I just love it. I love the way that it works, how it comes together very, very easily. It works. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of Lazur. I'm just going to do the edges. Lazur is very runny, so just be aware of that. It's like a stain. And what I want to do is I just want to bring a bit of that to the edges. You could use a darker colour. I've gone for the walnut on this occasion, and I have got stuff on my brush. So I'm just bringing it in just for now into this. And like I know a lot of people want to change their brushes each time. I'm actually somebody who doesn't do that very often. So it's just a really nice way to keep this going. And I love how these pages just come together by themselves. We've got a little bit of colour going on the edges. Take a little bit of black for the edge as well. I like the fact that I can do this. And I like this, the drama it creates, the way it actually brings the pages together. I like that. So it's bringing the edges together. Got a long, not a long way to go, but we've got a bit of way to go. Now, if you ever make a mistake, paint it all white and start again. Yeah? It's not a problem. There we go, so we can see. And you can see how all of that is just getting framed. We started off with a blank sheet. And look where we've got to already. Okay? Might add a little bit of green. If I can open my green. Yeah. Use a different brush. I can wipe this one. Don't contaminate it too much. Now what I might do is just give that a quick blast so that we haven't got any black contamination. Okay, so let's put a little bit of green, not too much. Just going to lift a little bit of green into this as well. I just like the different textures you're going to get, because every time you do it, you'll get a different look. Every time you do it, you'll break up the paints, and I love that effect. I like the different lights and darks. Okay, so I'm really liking that, so I'm going to put that away. I'm going to do a little bit of stamping on this as well now. I'm doing the the lady from the Timeless. She actually stamps like just a part of her there, because I thought actually it'd be really nice that she's actually looking that way. So I might actually add her in. But I'm going to just use the edges of this stamp where the script is, etc., to just make some elements on here. And this is what I love, is that you get all of this just coming through. I'm always in love with the way that you can do this. So can you now see how we've gone and got a little bit more detail into that? So it starts to come alive. And I love, that's why it's nice to have some different colours. Just doing it on the backgrounds, just doing a generation, sort of second generation there. So now we've got this really, I think it's just so, already I love it. So you can see It doesn't take a lot. I've already stamped that. Again, I don't want any really clean lines. So all I'm doing is I'm just going and I'm just taking her out. You can even go a bit more around a hat if you want. And again, I don't really want the side to be that straight either. I'm just squaring it. For me, journaling isn't about perfection or anything like that. So I quite like her. I mean, obviously she's very white at the moment, so obviously we need to sort of see where we're going with it. So I think I'm thinking maybe I will break her down even further and just use a part of her. So you can do that. Obviously, it's just a stamped piece of card. Maybe she could be in that corner over there. So what I want to do now is, obviously I don't want to leave it like this stark colour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of the blue and I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to take my fingers and I'm just going to throw that on the edges. I love the creamies. Yeah? Now you can add a little bit of water to the creamies. You can. Just a little bit of water. I don't know where my spray gun is. So you can break that down a little bit. So you get this muckiness. And then you can bring that in. Because what I don't want is I don't want this to be white. And can you see how I'm doing that? I just watered it down with a mucky brush. And I'm just going in. I can even lift it off there. I don't mind. And what that will do is she won't look as if she's just stuck down as much as she would do. Take a little bit of browns. Yeah. Just take what you've got, and basically when you're lifting it, you'll get bits. And I just love these effects. I mean, I am somebody who's a bit more muckier than most people, I think. So then she would go, she's going to sit in there like that. Or maybe, I don't know, you know. I haven't decided yet. Let me have a think about her for a moment. Look, she is going to go on there. So it's not a problem. Let me see if she would look nice with some flowers in her hair. Not sure yet. So the other things I've got is I've got this beautiful stamp, Where Flowers Bloom. At the moment, we've got 50% off all DaliART and PipART stencils and of all the stamps. So maybe I'll just use Bloom, but this is a beautiful sentiment for journaling. Where flowers bloom, so does hope. So we could easily put that all down on that side. But you know what? I'm going to put Bloom because I can. And I'm going to just use that. And let's try and level it up a little bit, Dolly. Yeah, I'm not too worried if it's not totally level. I'm going to put that in just to give me a little, got all my fingers in the verse mark then. Right, let's see, where do I want this? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a bit of white primer down here so that when I do it, it's going to look a lot, oops, sugar, I've got something on my brush, didn't I? I didn't take it off. I have the blue on it. So, let me take this out. I want to put a bit of white down there, just purely because I'm going to write on it. I'm going to dry this. And I've overheated my gun, so that's not going to work. Let me just lift it. I'm having one of those days. I've decided I am definitely having one of those days. So I'm just going to go in. I'm just going to risk it in wet paint. Right, so I'm writing the word bloom. And hopefully, oh, that's lovely. It's come out. It's not going to be as crisp because my paint was wet underneath. But can you see that? It says bloom. Now, if you wanted to, you could go in with a black marker and you could make it a little bit darker. You could put some white shadowing on it, just reaching over. So if you wanted to, when it's dry, please, because it is actually wet. I can't do that yet. Okay. Right, I still want to work with my little girl. And I'm actually going to put her here because I'm actually going to do something else over here at the moment. So let me get some decoupage medium. I'm going to put it down there. I'm really liking this because it's all in my little head and it's all just coming to life by itself. I've actually got our new glue in. Oh, do you know what? It is amazing. I've nearly ran this one out now, but it is absolutely, it's called magic. It's called puzzle glue, and I'm not joking. Thank you, whoever posted those. Thank you very much. Thank you, Louise. Sorry. I'm on my own today. Nobody loves me. So, yeah, all stamps and stencils are half price till the end of the week. So, for DaliART Market and on PipART Creations. My sister is not around at the moment. She is out and about, so she's not there. So usually she posts most of it. So I'm just sticking this down. I thought I might as well use that because everything is so wet because my heat gun is just gone on overheat like me. So there we go. I am really enjoying it. Can you tell I'm enjoying it? Okay. So now you can see, look at that page. So we'll blend all this in yet, so don't worry about that too much. Okay. Let's put a little bit of decoupage over the top, just to protect her from throwing anything at her. You can like a little bit more at the sides as well. No, I'm in love with this glue. If you're into album making, anything like that, then I really recommend this. And I know Jill speaks extremely highly of it, and she was actually one of the ladies who recommended it to us. So we brought it in all the way. I think it comes, do you know, I don't know where, I can't remember where it comes from now. I'm having one of those days. Thank you so much, ladies, for posting those posts. So there you go. So much at the moment, that's where we've got to. Okay. Now, I'm going to try something. I want to do it. I want to create these big flowers on this side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fingers, I'm going to take my primer paste. I'm just going to go for it, ladies. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create these like roses. Yeah? Sort of rosy shapes. Okay? And then what I'm going to do, because I sort of want something on that side that's going to bring all this together. Then I'm going to take a little bit of the blue. I'm going to mix that in as well. Yeah? You'll see it all come together, I think. I'm going to take a little bit of the grey. I'm doing it all with my fingers. Because do you know what? I love getting messy. So very different to my sister. And then I'm going to bring some of that grey in. Okay. And then we're going to carry on with this page doing that. So wipe your fingers and then go in. And then just do these circle motions. And then we'll obviously tidy all this up once we're done of how it will look. And just keep going in. Actually, what I'll do is I'll do all the whites first. And I just love this effect. And then we're going to create these little flowers. And the white. And don't worry, at the moment it just looks like splodges, I know. I'm just hoping my heat gun is not, I might have to pick another one up from downstairs. Don't you worry. It will all come together, she says. I'm just doing it off the top of my head, as I can. Okay. And I know a lot of you will say, oh my God, she's ruined that side. You'll see. Hopefully you'll see. Right, a little bit of this. We're just bringing that in. It is like a PVA. Oh, thank you, Jill. Yeah, do you know what? I swear by it. And I've always found glue to be really messy. It comes off my hands really easy if it gets on there. It just works. Don't ask me why, it just works. And they're really nice tubes. And this is one I've just finished. I should go and get a new one. But they've got this really soft touch to them. And that's what I liked about them. And they do not dry out. And they have a really nice point. Seriously, paper, rice paper. You can probably, I've used it on fabric. I stuck some magnets down earlier. I've used it on nearly everything that I have. I've tried it on so many different things before we brought it in. Oh, do you hear that? My heat gun went off. Fighting the living daylights out of me, as you can tell. Right, so we're still going in with my bit of grey here. So all this is like all freehand now. Okay, take a little bit more grey. And can you see, look, they're like little roses, but I know it doesn't work yet, but it will work. And you'll see, hopefully it will. She says it will work. God knows if it will or not now. I know, Jill, I saw you order 10. I mean, it's so inexpensive. We've got 5 tubes for £10. Now, don't tell me you can go wrong. Just can't go wrong with it. It is, and it is absolutely lovely. And it's like Jill says, it's a super grab. Super, super, super grab. Now, if you look close at these, you can actually see they're actually like roses and flowers. They're actually absolutely really, really lovely. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a little bit of the blue over here as well, so that we've got a little bit of it over here, so it doesn't look like we've got it all over there. Yeah, a little bit up here. So we've got that, and a slight bit down here. Okay, and we can still go in with the stamp, and we can still go in with different effects. So I really like that effect, I really do. Add a little bit of white primer to it. And I'm doing it all actually with my fingers because I actually like this technique, and I think it gives you more texture. Put a few shadows in. And don't overthink it. I always say to everybody, please don't overthink your work. Because the minute you start to overthink it, that's when it starts to go a bit too low. So I really like that. So now it looks like we've got light coming in. We've got different effects. Okay, quick blow dry again. Now, if you wanted to, you could still bring rice paper into this and say I wanted a little bit of this, say, for example. Bring some of this flower in, so it brings those other flowers out. Okay, so I don't want to have it as a whole piece, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to go over here. So what we can do is, don't want to cover everything I've just done, but I think I'm just going to use a little bit of the flower. Maybe I'll put it onto her hat like that. And it looks like she's got a flower on her hat. So it's just a matter, for me, it's always about playing. I just play. That's all I do, really. Oops. Putting my brush apart at the moment. You shouldn't leave your brushes in water. That's what happens if you leave them in water. Okay, so we're going to put some decoupage bits there. And I'm just going to decoupage that in. Make sure the brush is clean. And there we go. So you see how now it's all start to come together. So you've got that little bit now. So it's sort of taking the other side over. Okay, so we want to sort of blend that in a little bit because obviously it looks like it's not blended now. So let's take a little bit of the blue, let's blend a little bit of that in. Oops, still wet, so be careful. Quite happy with that now. Need to stick that down a little bit more. I'll dry it first. Oh, it's overheated again. I don't know why it's overheating, but it is. Everything's overheating because it's so. Don't try it like this. I need to stick this down a little bit more. So can you see where I'm going with that so far? Okay. The next thing I want to do is try and give some shape, form to these flowers. Now there is a couple of ways of doing it, but I'm going to see if it will work with my black. And don't worry about this too much, because all I'm doing is I'm just giving it some texture. But we're going to break this down in a minute. And what we want to do is it's like this garden of bloom. Yeah, so we've got this like garden going on. It's such a lovely, I'm not joking, it's so therapeutic. Now if you want to go in and colour that darker, so you would just go in and colour that dark. So I did remember it was wet and I couldn't get my gun to work. So then that can stand out a little bit more. Maybe you just want to do it on the bee or whatever. So I love the fact that you can do this. So you can see, look, that's already showing up a bit more. So I'm just going to go in with those. Yeah, I've still got a bit to do. Not too much, ladies, but I'm just playing really. Spend all day playing. Okay, so we'll just follow the stamps. Let's go where they go. I'm using a ballpoint because if anything's wet, it's more likely to work. So if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be able to do it. Actually, my nail varnish as well. Okay, you can even go in and do some of these bits. Some little dots in. You can really make it your own, really. And I like sort of going over things, but sort of not making it so like it was. It's sort of giving it a different, so that it looks a little bit more shabby chic. But when you do that, obviously you're going to get, it's going to look like you've just done it. So what I want to do now is I want to give these some leaves. Yeah, just little ones. All I'm doing is little leaves. It's my little flowers, you see, bloom. So I'm just scribbling some leaves in. A little bit over there. Okay, and so what I also want to do is I want to take my black pen and I'm just going to do some scribbles on the tops, down the sides. Again, it's all about framing, it's all about the layers, it's all about just creating your piece. You could do some stitching here. There's just so much you can be doing. You could take a white pen and do this. Don't have to do it in this colour. So, but can you see where I'm going, sort of going with that? And you can see now they actually look quite nice actually. I'm quite happy the way they look. And what you can start to do is you can still go in with another little bit of colour. This is the brown again. And then you can start to pick out little bits if you want. Just put another colour in and just a shade. And I love these colours. So if you want to do that, you can do that. And what I want to do is I don't want all that black to show. I want some of it to show, but I don't want it all to show. because otherwise it looks like I've just drawn the lines on, yeah? So all I'm doing is taking a little bit of that and then just taking, not too much, because otherwise you can add that to your rice paper as well. Just use your fingers, because what I find is if I use my fingers, I seem to have more control than I do with a brush. I just like the artistic license, I think. So, and then you can see how I'm building on this, or how I've built on it. So now if you wanted to, you can still go back in again with your, nope, I don't want to work today. I'm going to go in with my stamp again, just the top of it. And I'm going to bring some of that writing back in again, because obviously I've got rid of some of it while I was doing it. Also, what this will do is take away from some of the stamped flowers, so that you can do that. See? And now you can see how that's all going to start to come together. I don't know how I can explain it. It's just such a lovely feeling when it all starts to come together. Yeah? Okay, so next thing I want to do is I'm going to take the white. I can't really dry it, unfortunately. So I've made such a mess. Put some white down on my mat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a lid to something, which I'm good at doing usually. Doesn't matter really what I have a lid to, and wash it afterwards. So I'm going to take some white, and I'm just going to go in. Should really dry everything, but I haven't really got my gun's gone dead. Everything's going dead today. I did it on Crate and Craft the other day as well. So I'm just coming in, I'm just doing a few circles like we've seen these done before. So there's nothing special, but what it does is it starts to bring this piece together. Let's use the edges on them, if I can. Okay, so it's just put a few of those in. Okay, so I hope you're liking it. Oh, thank you, Jackie. That's very kind. Thank you, Stacey. Thank you, everybody. I really love it. All your positive feedback. It always helps, because I just do this off the top of my head and hope something good comes out of it. But do you see? I mean, just imagine that. Just on its own, if I hadn't even done the lamp, you could actually be creating these pages yourself. And I showed you how easy that was. So what I would do now is I would throw some white splashes at this. I can carry on with this. I mean, you could do some drips of the blue. So you could do, see if we can do that. Let's do some drips of the blue. You know what? I always end up ruining things because I want to do too much. Let's get any clean water here. Let's try this. So I quite like the idea of some of the blue coming down. I don't think it's going to work as well as I want it to. So I'm going to probably give that a miss, because what I don't want to do is ruin it now that I've done it. But I still like the idea of using my hands, because I find that, so I like this look. I like the fact that it's giving it, just what I mean, it sort of frames it. And I could carry on like this all day, just mucking about really. And in my head, you won't believe it, the things I've got in my head. And I started off with the rice paper. I mean, I could have done it without the rice paper at this rate, because I've made so many other things on it. But it just shows you, maybe even knock that bloom back a little bit, too much. Can you see where I'm going with that? Hopefully you can. Can you see that? I love this page, actually. I like this page more than I like the other page. But it is a personal preference. Oh, thank you, Angela. Yeah, it was funny because somebody says to me the other day, your sister is like a really professional teacher. And the girl said to me, and she goes, and Dali, you're totally the opposite. One actually teaches us and one actually inspires us. I think I took that as a compliment. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that green, just because it's a little bit different. I'm going to do some splashes with it first. I'm just going to add it to my page, and then I'm going to splash away. And it's quite light, but it's not. I've done quite heavy splashes. And when I get it on my clothes, then I know that I've done that. And I like the idea that there's lots of splashes because I think it adds to my project. Okay, so there's my heat gun. Good timing. Now I chose the colours based on where I started. See, now that just, I don't know if you can see that, ladies, because I've got that stupid brown. Can you see how that all just starts to come together? And then you've still got this focal bit. I mean, you could put a little, you know, you could put a, I was going to say a dome on it. And when she goes to look for it, she can't see one. But anyway, you could put like a little dome on that side. You could do something else. You could then take these pages out and put them into an album. You could really, you know, you could be doing anything. Right, what else would I like? I want a couple of white splashes on this side because it's darker on that side. And so I'm going to put some white splashes on that side a little bit. I don't think I'm going to get any white there because my paintbrush is still very, very dark. What can you see? And I like these big splodges. See? And now there's flat one. The brush is falling apart. A bit like me today. It's only because it's been in water all night. Jules told me about this. Don't put them in water. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think it would. And sometimes that's where I get my inspiration from as well. But can you see? Now we've got this really lovely, lovely page. Now you can come in and you can start doing your white pens. You can start doing other things. You could do some stitching around it. You could put some gems into it. I seriously, I could carry on all night. Oh, thank you, Gloria. No worries at all. I was just showing, I've just been making this page. And so if you wanted to, you know, you could carry on. You know, you could put another flower in there. This is just so many things that you could do. You could have put the whole sentiments on there, where, you know, where flowers bloom, and we could, you know, you could easily use those words and just put them on, and then that would make it really, really nice. Got some. Oh, I've seen the butterfly on vellum. Look now what it made me do. I wonder if that would look nice. Do you think that would look nice, or is that a bit too much? I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me see. I've got another butterfly in here. I've always got stuff. Always got one cut. Yay. It's obviously something I've got to see. Look. It's a bit big for this project, but if you wanted to, you could split it in half here. Should we do that? Should we just go for it? Let's get a pair of scissors, because I can. This is very Dali style. Very Dali style. Let's get carried away. Actually, I'll just cut that bit off because I'm struggling to be here on that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that wing just there with that beautiful glue. See, now this is where my little brain goes all over the place. And seriously, I love to create. I'm just going to, don't want to go over the page. Stick that into there. I'm not going to stick it all down. I'm just going to stick the bit at the bottom. I don't want my wing to go off the page. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter if it did. So, I think if I could create journal pages every day, that's what I would do. That's all I would do. Because there is something therapeutic whether you do it like this, whether you do it with paper. I am working on something, keep an eye on. And so, as usual. And now, where do I want to put the other one? So, don't want to cover her, obviously. Let me have a look. See, now this is where it gets tricky. Now, you could do not put one on at all. But you know what? I am actually going to put it here. I actually really like this. You see, I've got a bit of a strange way of looking at things. And I don't mind it being raised. I have no problems with that. But look at that. See? Look at all the things you've got lying around. That's a good point. To be honest, I need a new brush. My father says, oh my God, I bet that brush is older than you are. But that's a really good point. So, right. But can you see that? This is just one of our butterfly wishes, stamped straight with a VersaFine on too. Oh, I like that. I like that now. So, see, that's really, really nice now. Maybe I could put the word hope on this side. Am I getting a bit carried away now? Actually, I think hope might look nice down there. I'm going to go for it. You see, this is where Dali just gets carried away. And I can see a few of you saying, stop, stop, stop. But no, Dali won't stop. She's very naughty. Everybody says I'm very naughty. There we go. I'm just going to still there. It's not always easy to do it on pages because obviously it's, look at that. Hope, balloon. I'm thinking now, I haven't got anything up here. Oops. I'm just going to leave it there because I think I could carry on forever and ever. Just look at that. I can't tell you how nice. I'm actually quite happy with it myself. So this is, I'm going to call this as my blue balloons. So you can see, I'll take that off. That's the way to do it. And what you could do is take these pages out if you wanted to. I wouldn't take them, I'd take it out like this. And then what you could do, and what I like doing is, I actually like putting them like so that they're lifted, but you've still got pages behind it. It looks really nice. But I'm going to leave it at that, ladies, because otherwise I'll be here all night. Thank you very, very much, everybody. I think it's just nice. It comes from my heart. It was how I was feeling today. Blue skies, blue. So I showed you another one at the beginning if anybody missed it. I did one quite a while ago using Florana. So very much, this is much more contemporary, much more, still a rice paper and just using one rice paper. You know, you own your own dreams. Today is a good day. So it's a really nice way to work. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you're interested in any of the stamps or stencils, then obviously have a look. You've got 50% off for this week. We're trying to clear some stock, I'll be honest, because we need the space. And I really hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have being here this evening. Thank you so, so much. Thank you, everybody. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Louise. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so, so much. And I hope it's given you a little bit of inspiration and to get your hands mucky as well. Bye.